cradle of civilizations, the living space of various nations, the host of dozens of cultures has been erased. If the last epic written in this charming coastal town, it came to life in the field of public life. This delightful love that sprouted in the early 70s gradually turned into a passion, giving lush branches like a mighty plane tree. The regional, national, then and international achievements obtained over the years allowed the townspeople to unite as one body around these successes. In addition to all this, the Silivri region, which holds the distinction of being Istanbul's only region, served as a cultural bridge in the competitions and organizations it participated in. Moreover, we shared the unique joy of filling buses and leading a city in every competition we joined.
I remember very well, we had sent young people from here to a festival in Diyarbakır. There was an association called İHAD in Istanbul, Istanbul Folklore Research Association. Through it, in other words, we had built a bridge from here to ensure peace by connecting people from our region with the cultures of other regions. Years ago, we sent our young people from Silivri to Diyarbakır. We sent them abroad. We participated in festivals in our own Thrace region. Just playing games can satisfy people. But now, while playing games, it's necessary to blend this culture with other cultures.
In 1981, it was the year of Atatürk. Silivri games were registered in Istanbul at that time. The Istanbul governorship had assigned the Silivri sound to welcome the then state president Kenan Evren in Istanbul. The Silivri sound was assigned from the European Red October. This showed that the Silivri games were the Istanbul games at that time, even if it wasn't officially stated.
This is now taught as a course. The Silivri region is now very seriously in all of Istanbul, all of Turkey, and now it can find its place all over the world. Only not the game played by Silivri, the voice of Silivri, or the primary education in Silivri, but by many schools in Istanbul, by many municipalities, as the region it has chosen for itself. And finally, the region of Istanbul is Silivri. If Istanbul is going to participate in competitions, whichever school, whichever municipality, whichever public education center in Istanbul is going to participate, they must participate with the Silivri region. This regional thing is still valid. The region of Istanbul is Silivri. After we achieved this, we said, okay, this matter is now settled.
We used to work at Silivri High School. For example, there was going to be a competition in Çanakkale. It's not difficult to bring together 10 or 20 dancers, or it's not difficult to bring together 30 dancers. After that, being able to organize 4 or 5 buses was a skill.
Our students were organizing, just like how organizations are done when heading to the beginnings. Now, support there. While we were taking the team, at least 1 bus, 2 buses were organized in Istanbul, even when going to Ankara. 1 bus, 2 buses of our children were coming. They watched the team there, and at the same time, they applaud in this way. They also had their support.
Of course, with the regret of not being able to be part of that team, at the Sports Exhibition Palace, we were watching from the top floors. I remember feeling very emotional and tears coming to my eyes when I went down to get closer, especially when the result was announced as a great success for Silivri High School. I can never forget the joy and warmth I felt inside. Those friends of mine had become different in our eyes. I clearly remember feeling a bit envious and wishing we had joined too. We would have gone as well. There was a lot of interest. Imagine, 4 or 5 buses went to a Silivri competition from here, considering the conditions of that day. It was difficult to find a car. You had to arrange buses from the services and so on. But in those years, participation was much higher. The excitement was high. It had developed a sense of ownership in us.
On the way to the competition by bus, the old Sports Exhibition Palace, our team's bus, We are going by bus. From the back comes the sound of a clarinet. The coach is standing next to me here. A sheep is standing in front. We are keeping them away from each other. And just like that, an absurd film. Scene?
There's no such thing. You go on stage, everyone stands up, applause and all that. It's crazy. It's a very beautiful thing.
The people loved it very much. He had gained the people's affection. Mr. Tamel was involved in this matter. Can you imagine 4 buses from here going to the competitions? 4 buses of people were going from here to the Sports Exhibition Palace to watch us. When we returned and had come in first place, we were welcomed here like a national team that wins a championship and returns to Turkey. There was such love.
In the 70s, 6 to 7 buses were organized from Silivri for the competitions held by Milli Gazetesi, and we would go to watch the competitions. Of course, this created a certain excitement. It also became a social activity for the youth.
Imagine you're going to an event. You need to go with 20 people, but you can go with 400 people. You can go with 20 dancers and over 300 supporters. This is what sociality is. Sharing the bread, supporting, being applauded, being sad, experiencing sorrow together, putting the trophy in the middle and celebrating together. The beauty was here.
The Silivri team would always return from wherever they went with an award. The Silivri team's performances were watched on television. The Silivri team represented Turkey in competitions abroad.
There's also something like this. It was the same when we went abroad, and it's the same when we come here. Now we've returned from the competition. We've become the first in Turkey, and we've arrived. It didn't matter if it was 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. In the town square, it is absolutely read and displayed, and it is played. Without playing, no one ever goes home. No matter how sleepy you are, no matter how much you don't want to play, you don't have such a chance. The wedding dress would be placed in the square, and in the square, a big gathering that everyone participated in would definitely be set up, and we would all play there.
Here, 30 teams, 40 teams, 42 teams participate in the competitions. As Silivri Municipality Cultural Center, we are approximately 14. We participated in the competition. We came first in 13 of them and second in 1. So Golden Kemençe, Golden Fish, we 23. Century Children's Festivals and more that I can mention. We have many first place wins in various events. I mean, we brought these achievements to Silivri. They were very beautiful feelings. We can never forget them.
Several buses would depart from here and people would go. There would be incredible support from the audience. It would pass like a festival, like a celebration, like a match, like a football match. Whether we succeeded or not, that doesn't matter at all. What mattered was us. Silivri, a small district's folk dances and showing itself strongly there.
Since Silivri became what it is, it hasn't experienced such a taste, nor such a pleasure. Can you imagine? We go to competitions with 6-7 buses from here. It's like Silivri Sports is going to a match. That's how we go. I mean, and then you've come in first place, Silivri, villages and all. There are people coming from our villages. At least one bus full of people would come from Kumburgaz just to watch me. From Kumburgaz, my spouse, friends, family, relatives. The income of everyone, all the players. Imagine, Silivri, 5-6 buses at once. They fill the stands, cheers coming from there and so on. Of course, these were wonderful excitements. For us, for a child at that age, an incredible thrill. Unbelievable.
Back then, it wasn't like it is now. You know, technology was limited. Now they are very lucky with the shoots. We didn't have all those competitions, CDs and things like they do. But the interest was incredible. Buses, 4 or 5 buses were going from here. I mean, social activity, because our access to Istanbul was through getaways. It was happening thanks to that. Lovers were meeting thanks to that. New people were getting acquainted thanks to that.
I did this. I don't claim such a right to my work. We did this by collaborating with the environment. Here while going to competitions, we used to fill up 10 to 12 buses and take them. It was filling up in Stor Savisaare. It was filling up. When Silivri was mentioned, we would get off. So there was an enthusiasm, an excitement. This excitement fueled us. Therefore, we did things.
The distances, covered with enthusiasm and motivation, were by no means negligible. Moreover, considering the limited resources of those years, it is clear that endeavours undertaken with heart always find a way, as opportunities mentioned. It clearly demonstrated how helpless all those things were in the face of people connected by a bond of heart.
At that time I was working with Taner Abi. There is something at the high school's indoor sports hall. I was working then too. My father was ill. I was working as a truck driver while I was in high school. There is about half an hour left until work. I am just about to go home. To leave the truck ran out of diesel. When the diesel runs out, there is a certain tactic for the truck. You give a hose to the diesel tank. From there directly, you transfer it to the engine, and while doing that, I got diesel all over me, smelling terribly of diesel, and I have to go to work. Now, of course, we are in our prime youth, so what are we going to do about the ladies? We are young. I got into the bathroom at home, scrubbed with soap like sandpaper for 2 hours. It wouldn't come off. The diesel smell persisted. Then I went to work. Of course, among friends, I smelled terribly of diesel, so I said, sorry guys. Well, they were kind enough not to do anything about it. Well, there are many memories, but I am truly very happy to be part of such a community.
Let me share a beautiful memory with you. Back then, Abdi Ipekçi wasn't as big as it is now. It wasn't well known. The conference hall is the one that exists now. We are going there for a show. Taner Abi prepared the team again. There will be such a rally there, packed to the brim. Well, how can I put it? As they say, you couldn't drop a pin. Exactly like that. The chairs were filled. Plus, even the front of the stage was full. We were that crowded. And everyone spoke. Then it was time for the show. For our team's performance, Taner Abi got the team in anyway. But our communication with the team broke down. Because there were people in between. So we weren't in dialogue. We couldn't hear the commands, you know? What are we going to do? How are we going to manage? Kavat was on stage. I got off the stage. I moved to the middle of the team. It was impossible for Kiva to hear me. Meanwhile, how are we going to communicate? We are communicating with a mallet.
There are indeed sponsors who provide serious financial support for the formation of folk dances. Sponsorships like today were not in question. Do the children need to go somewhere or need something? There were people who could openly say, here, take it and do it, and support clearly. That's why when a trophy is won, let's say you supported it, we would come to the side where your house is and have the drum played there. We would also dance a bit. In other words, you supported the right thing. We thank you. We are indebted to you. It's good that you support it so it can survive. This success was something the district achieved together. It served to convey that feeling.
Our enthusiasm back then was completely amateur. I mean, we never looked at this professionally. We still view it the same way. Because we are amateurs, success is inevitable because there is no financial gain. The best financial gain for us is going out to eat somewhere after winning a prize in a competition. That was enough for us.
People who came together with a bond of affection eventually achieved success. Certainly, being able to find great happiness in small things was perhaps one of the most beautiful habits of those years. Of course, on the road to success, small competitions were not absent in the distances covered with joint effort.
Ali told you I don't know how he explained it. Don't go out with this drum. In our games, there's actually no such thing as going out with a drum. But of course, we enter it into the competition. More beautiful, better. How do you do it? More attractive, more. How do you turn it into a visual show? Like In our men's games, there was a rough uncle game with the drum. For example, he would place his foot, the person playing would place their foot on top of the drum.
We have compiled games and reached a very important game. We have reached a game called Kabadayu. Mr. Kamal was a teacher who added a lot of accessories to games and always set the bar high.
When forming the team, we are obliged to arrange it according to height order. Actually, he was the team leader of Silivri'ye. We had formed the team from smallest to largest. But when it comes to Silivri folk dances, when we started learning it, there was no one who danced better than me. This time we reversed the team. I am also the tallest in my tasks. From tallest to shortest. Task came, go up on the drum.
Of course, since Güngör is originally from Petroleum, he knows the dances of this region very well. So what will happen then? Güngör became the team leader. I moved to the end of the team, but I had been the team leader for 2 years. The team leader of Silivri, the team leader of the Gaziantep region, I became the end of the team. Naturally, my morale dropped.
I was putting my foot on the drum. Hussein teacher put his foot on the thing, on the drum. He put that drum on top of that drum.
Uncle Baba also, we added a figure to climb the drum. If Güngör Kozlic were to climb the drum now, the drum would collapse. And the Salya Melon. We said the back can't stand.
We are learning about the tough guy. He also came, and while playing the tough guy, he put his foot on the drum. He said, wow, this is such a beautiful moment. Güngör said, you too? He said, the tough guy too, he said. In this part of the play, he said, when you say hop, jump up, put your foot on the drum. He said, oh, this can't be happening. He said to the guy in the yellow suit, yellow brother, when you have the drum in your hand, Güngör said, would it be okay if he stands on it? He said, I will hold it. Yellow brother, but our Güngör is big. He jumped once, it didn't work. He jumped twice, it didn't work.
At that time, we calculated that it wouldn't hold because of the drums. There are many risks. I mean, the drum strap might break and you could fall. So we are 3 people behind Ali. One way or another, we will hold him. There. I mean, according to us, oh, Ali. But could they hold me?
But Hussein Görür would come and tell me, Ali, look, being the end of the team is also very good. They call it puchik. The end of the team needs to be gathered. Your role is more important than the team leaders or something. He was trying to honor me.
We identified the team. We put the little ones in front and lined up the big ones towards the back. Ali made that figure nicely. A few liters on top of the drum, then suddenly it goes down.
We turned the team around again. We brought Ali out. On top of the drum. I mean, he must have told you he couldn't get out or something like that. Huh? That's what he must have said.
He said, I guess it won't happen. He said, Ali, come here. To the front. As I was coming to the front, I realized I would be the team leader. I just got there. Almost jumped on top of Safer Silly Brother while saying, hop in, get up. He said, okay, we found it. From Güngör to the back. This time I to the front. Once again, I ended up being the team leader like that. Güngör.
When he climbed onto the drum at the Sports Exhibition Palace, he was going to reach the jury. They say, how is this a game? He climbed onto the drum. Play it.
And it made a lot of noise. That was one of the most important elements in us becoming first. Us getting on the drum. They had never seen anything like that before. It was unprecedented.
In fact, something like this happened. Milliyet newspaper. From the headline, from the front page headline of the newspaper, had a headline saying acrobat folklorist with my photo on the drum. Underneath, with a small headline, it said, is this how a drum is played? As a headline for the yellow brother. He was playing drums well.
To acquire memories that create joyful smiles in these pictures, going through intense, exhausting, and long hours of work, participating in competitions that bring great excitement. To achieve such success, it is also necessary to work tirelessly and without giving up.
While preparing for the competitions during the study period, may he be remembered fondly. Mr. Salami, you had your teacher, you know, you were also a music teacher. At that time, Ms. Tanzer and Mr. Salami were supervising teachers. I remember times during the practices when I was left breathless, unable to breathe, almost choking. In fact, while doing the Spanish back takes and the 8-count exercises, he took to the drum. Mr. Salami took my hand. He already knows the rhythm. As he played, I danced. He also showed it to the team. My feet had blisters. I never forget them.
During elementary school years, it especially felt like a holiday to us. I mean, it was like we're going to Istanbul, and our families are coming with us. Everyone's attention was on us. You do it, you are constantly encouraged like this, and then we go on stage and successes follow. There were times when we failed, but as children, we honestly didn't dwell on it. I participated in such a competition during my high school years. We had worked hard, but we were unsuccessful that year. This had a big impact on me, and I made a promise to myself. I promised that I would train teams and win awards with the teams I train.
Disaster in competitions, excitement. Every time Levin, my teammate, who is also now my brother-in-law, every time, 5 minutes before the competition, Levin, I think I forgot. May God damn you, you don't know, just be quiet, he would say. So, with that excitement, we participated in all the competitions. I never forget one competition. We were going to go from there to Ankara. We were at the Milliard competition. The competition happened and we were looking at first place with absolute certainty. But of course, as always, there wasn't a first place. We came in second. Levent was a bit rebellious too. We were getting that support from our teacher. And we turned our backs to the jury. Of course, they were raising hell with us, telling us to turn around. We didn't take that trophy. Of course, being kids at that time, we had those kinds of moments. But that excitement, we still experience it every time we climb the mountain.
We went to a competition in Istanbul, again from here. They said now, Silivri High School Roman dance came. They said again, first place. Indeed, wherever we went, we were always first. Our girls always stay calm, like this. As Silivrios, all of them are calm, but they go on stage. Our entrance and exit are as one.
For example, when entering a competition, we sit down and brainstorm. I wonder if this game would be better if we played it here. How can we show Silivri in a better light? There used to be something in Silivri. If it's Samyat, you start with the right foot. You don't start standing with the left foot. We started with the left foot. We came in first, like, oh, I'm just saying, Bochorshi. Well, it was played with both girls and boys. Only the boys played. We are currently the champions of the Marmara region.
Competitions always leave something in a person's mind. That's how I think. A memory remains like a photograph. It's a completely different feeling. The desire to be first, the desire to be successful, initially the desire to be successful, and for this to be presented to you as something you deserve by others. This is very important. In all, how should I say, in all the competitions we participate in, all teams want to be first. We also always try to succeed by doing our best.
At night, of course, it's a tourist facility there now. A different kind of environment. We also went to those different environments. We went without informing Professor Temel. Mustafa wasn't there at that time. We went to bed late. Then the next day we went to the competition. We performed poorly in the competition. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. Professor Temel was very angry with us. While playing, my belt came undone. There was a gun and a dagger. They scattered everywhere. Then Professor Temel even said, may he rest in peace, we remember him now. He said, why, as if it were a part of the act, taking the gun and dagger. I remember you getting angry at us because you didn't put the sash around your waist and put it on. We played badly, and on top of that, the belt was completely messed up. I felt like boiling water was poured over my head. There were thousands of people, hundreds of people. We were at the Sports Exhibition Palace. They were shouting and all. Then the results were announced. I don't forget. We came in second. It was a result we didn't expect. Of course, we had our reputation, our name. Even our bad performance was better. I mean, this is important. Our bad performance was better.
We won many first places, performing very well in competitions. We were playing by showcasing excellent performances. So we had a great team. Of course, then we had our Turkey championships. Our regional and Istanbul championships were ongoing. We were already used to it. So we participated in competitions for 3 years while in high school. Back then of course we moved on to the association. Always first place. When we went to competitions, we went to Istanbul and they would say Vasilya High School has arrived. Everyone would suddenly become apprehensive. We would go to the region 10 more times. In our last competition in Hatay, we had left a very good competition and we had received very good scores. It was the highest score in history. I don't know, but they were my friends. Unfortunately, I don't know, 98.8, 98.8, 98.8. What did we get?
Now, in 1997, I was going to lead a team as a trainer for the first time in the Milliyet competitions for Milliyet newspaper. I had previously competed as a player, and we had won first places. The Milliyet competitions had a unique feature. They could declare teams with close scores as joint winners. In those years, I told my students in the team this, friends, I don't want a second first place next to you. In other words, we should be the sole winners. I had such a goal. In a way, this was also like proving myself.
Özcan told me, brother, I'm going to the Turkey final. Where to? Nationality. It is very important in our lives to nationality. I went to the Turkey final. Özcan said, don't come down, I'm upstairs. He asked, where are you, brother? I said, on the opposite corner, at the top corner of the stands. Up the picture.
Then we went out. First we passed the preliminary round. The final competition arrived. There were teams from Tekirdağ, Kırklareli, and Edirne. The Tekirdağ team was very close to us. We competed. The friends performed very well. Finally, the results were announced. We learned that we were the only winners. This was a special pride for me.
They entered the competition. I watched the team. They became the champions of Turkey.
But I had this kind of... I had excitement in an approach like this. I achieved this by observing my teachers and applying what they taught me. I had also invited my teacher, Taner Çetin. I invited you to my invitation in competition. He attended the event by accepting my invitation.
Now, of course, while I'm explaining this, I'm still experiencing that feeling. Özcan just went the cup. All the schools were lined up. They gave the cup, they stepped onto a platform. The cup is being awarded there. He took the cup. He didn't lift it. He searched. Of course, where he saw, he lifted the cup towards me.
At that moment, I took the trophy, with the trophy in my hand. My eyes were on the stands. I was looking for my coach, Taner. I saw him and went to him. I said, this is for you. I said, this is the success of a student you have trained. The trophy you see here right now is from the year 1997.
Whenever I talk about this, I always experience this intense emotion. And then he lifted that trophy. At that time, Turkey was deeply united.
In this journey, which started to make Silivri's name known, first in the region and then throughout Turkey, it is not always possible to talk about success, of course. Sometimes unexpected setbacks, unforeseen mistakes, and problems that need to be overcome are part and parcel of this endeavor.
During Taner Abi's time, there was the Dermenkoy, or pond. At its opening, the late Demirel had come there. We had gone there to play. While our friend Hussein was playing, we had a move. Bashir, that return is very 5. You can also ask Taner Abi about this. Of course, at that time, the Tomato Festival was still ongoing. At that time, both the Tomato Festival was happening, and we had gone there to play. One of our friends didn't hold on, flying into the tomato crate. Well, our friend was there until he managed to stand up.
One day we went to a competition with Mr. Mustafa. I'm not very interested I'm very interested in our own atmospheres. But when you enter a competition, everyone gets excited. That's Mustafa's fear anyway. I always end up being a bit of a mess. Okay, man, there's nothing wrong. We went to Sakarya to enter the competition. Was it the turkey competition? Anyway, we're going to enter that evening, and I'm terrified. My late father also had an instrument. I took the instrument. I said, let me oil these bellows nicely so they don't leak air from one side. Let's play comfortably.
We went to Sakarya. Everything is ready. A new team. We also made our preparations. Let the beautiful elegant be perceived, because it is local. We tried to revert to games close to their traditional customs or primitive original forms. Our games, the friends who participated were skillful, because it was an enjoyable environment, because we went with people like Tayfun brothers, Zelal sisters, who were there at the very beginning of this work. These people would already do this job correctly. Applications were made their ears ring. We went to the competition with Erkan brothers. Everything was very nice. We went on the competition stage. An unfortunate incident, the clarinet broke.
The day came, we oiled it the night before. Is it you who oiled it? The medicine under Kudret has softened. We lined up like this nicely. My brother-in-law done this on the right side. He is playing the oud. A friend of ours is playing the violin. We always have a friend after his father. İzzet Davulcuoğlu, son of the yellow drummer. We are in line. Mustafa looked at me and is now laughing. Brother, is it okay? The man from across said, please go ahead. Of course, we messed up a bit. We went deep into the pan. After our four gaps, I did something like a solo. Our guys started. Immediately get ready. We are playing right away. It came right to the B note. We will do Terharam. While doing Terharar, I suddenly heard another sound. Our friend who is a pilot, he is our brother-in-law. I'm doing like this. The man is taking off. I looked, it's on the ground. Immediately one note. We finished one step higher. But I swallowed myself. I hurt my heart.
The team is complete. We have landed. Of course, we have expectations. So, friend, what are you going to offer these people? You are going to present a dance on stage. You will present music that reinforces and supports this. And from the other side, oh, this is what the Silivri region, Silivri culture is like. The steps, characteristics, and so on are like this. You are waiting to get approval by saying it was good. The result will be announced. None of us have such an expectation, of course. Well, they announced the third, they announced the second, and with each announcement, we are waiting for them to mention our name. Friend, what about the second? There are two teams left. Either we are first or we are last. They will give an honorable mention and send us off. They announced the result. We scored a perfect 98 points. I mean, in this, I certainly have my contribution, but it is due to the craftsmanship of the people who did it. It is one of the rare competitions where they showed that every problem on stage can have a solution.
Then we went to Bursa, the competition. Brother Salih İzzet Sefer's operation. The drum burst. Right in the first air. Tanner came and was acting upset with us. I said, Tanner. I said to the drum, look, take a look. He said, oh, it burst. Of course it burst.
Turkey's first place with 97.2. Aden High School won with 97 points, and we lost. We came in second, by 0.02. Now, it was impossible to accept this. I felt the same way. I was also breaking down doors and windows. Mr. Temel held me back, saying, don't you dare. Now you go, gather the kids and bring them on stage. In front of the door, in front of the bus, you place the trophy in the middle and have them perform. Otherwise, you won't be able to have these kids perform again, he said.
I had a friend named Burak. We are going to Izmir with Tanner and the others. It's a very enjoyable event again. We are wandering around, visiting historical and tourist places. We have street performances. We are doing those. There is a main stage performance for that too. They probably Set up something like a metal skeleton-like structure similar to a table. They covered it with wood on top. They draped it with fabric. We will be performing on such a stage, if I'm not mistaken. We are using double costumes, and we are probably a team of 24. We will perform the show. Taner Abi was trying something over there. When giving the finale, someone should disappear and come from behind, jump and give the finale. The time for the finale came. Buruk's team closed the act. I need to go backstage. Did I go backstage? If I'm not mistaken, they will perform Guido's finale again. So, while kneeling and saying hey hey to the sides, the person who needs to step on someone's knee and fly to give the finale is me. They turned to the back. I sped up, stepped on Burak's knee. The stage was lively. Burak's knee slipped. I did a couple of flips in the air. When I first opened my arms, I was facing the audience. I had opened my arms with my back turned. I said, hey, and I saw that our Buraks were in front of us, no audience. With a reverse move, I had captured the audience again, even by falling on the stage. Negative things can happen. I think turning these into something so beautiful and enjoyable is the skill of the masters who passed it on to us.
We are going to a festival in Akçay. All of our friends are there. At that time, they brought a coach from Avcılar for me. They brought a friend named Onur. Of course, we are playing, aren't we? Onur said, you are a substitute. I mean, look, now I might be fat. I might not be able to lift my feet. But for years, I've been with my friends. No one took responsibility. I'm a substitute. I'm on the bench. After that, how eager you were, right, to play. Oh, what are you saying? Then they said that one of the friend's feathers turned into something. I guess, did he have something in his mouth? What happened? They said, you undress, you're the substitute, you're going in. So I thought, let me join the first team like a key player. Such excitement. We undressed somewhere on the street. We got dressed and we're about to go in. They said, you wait again. Well, my friend, this one came, that one came. I didn't say anything until the very end. Then we went to the men. Again, they tried to make me carry the flag and the equipment. I said, look, with my career now, I can't do these things, okay? People with careers found it burdensome. I sulked, well, but I didn't say anything to anyone. I didn't share it.
Wave by wave, the Silivri folk dance wave, spreading across all parts of Turkey, soon began to challenge the country's borders. First neighboring countries, then all of Europe, and eventually intercontinental. Dancers trained in Silivri performed at various events, introducing our culture to other nations. During long journeys, it will also be remembered as an indispensable part of this epic. Of course, many memories were also being made.
This success started it all. Things started coming to us from whom those who have previously benefited from this job and gone abroad. Associations, those who deal with this business, non-governmental organizations. There is such a success. Come on, kids. It contributes to them. There is something new together with us as well. Trips abroad, those abroad. International. There are formations where folk dances are performed in this way. Participation in those formations. We went there. We were fortunate to be part of one of them. We went to, after us, these friends continued regularly in Silivri and in places other than this, perhaps thanks to these dances. They won't be able to see Bulgaria. The guys went to Lisbon. I mean, do you understand?
For the first time, in 1992, I started participating in international festivals. Since that year, I can no longer remember the number. Despite participating in quite a lot of travels and festivals, we had the chance to represent our district and our country.
My shoe had flown off. We were playing on something like a raft. We are abroad. My shoe flew off my foot and fell into the pond. So at that moment abroad, I couldn't retrieve it. The shoe went quite far. I was playing without shoes, you know, these things happen. Yes, they do happen.
During my term, when I was the vice president, again, the sister city, Thessaloniki, where those from this region settled, I took them to a festival in the Thermaikos, Eponomio, Perea, i.e. Agitriadi region. Now, the Nihans, Nihan Unders, at that time, of course, they were in high school. Either in the first or second year, they were children. Together with Sam, Sibyl also knew very well the team. They were leading the team. That day, a night in Agya Triadi, at the festival, in a place with a population of 10,000, we saw 7,000 people at night. It was very impressive. Almost the entire town, the residents there, had come. Our team went on stage. Again, you know, they performed the plays. There was the groom's shave scene. I saw people crying there. Then the applause on stage, their interest after the friends came down, they almost tore the clothes off them. Everyone was trying to get something from them. As a souvenir, one of them, an elderly person, felt in a very bad state, so much so that they couldn't leave. Very tearful. It was already evident from their eyes. They called out to me. Their Turkish was very good. From Istanbul, they were one of the Rembets who returned from Istanbul and settled there. He said, "My son, are you a native of Silivri? You are indeed." My grandparents were like you. My grandparents were the opposite of you. We came from there. Continue these traditions. These things, don't abandon them. After that, we also invited their teams here. When they came with Grigor, believe me, we brought the same impact to this neighborhood. Again, in front of Lutfi Abi's coffee shop. When we had them play the game at this neighborhood meeting, we saw people crying here too. It means that when both sides see this, we are a vast geography that cries, rejoices, and feels the same common emotion. That's why these games are not just ours. I realized that once back then, there are many who own it. Something very unique that makes both sides cry and laugh. If these games have become a common value of nations, then they are not just ours. We understand better here that we should never disrupt this blend of the two in this geography.
At that time, going abroad, I think it was the year 77, going abroad was allowed once every 3 years. More precisely, there was no personal passport either. There was permission to go abroad once every 3 years. When we were going abroad, the ministry, with the approval of the Ministry of Culture, whoever was going, the Ministry of Culture would approve it. We were going out with a passport, we called a group passport. The approval we received from Ankara. We had our dear student Erden Kızıltepe. He was also performing, his father was also Erden Kızıltepe. However, the name was written incorrectly at the ministry. In other words, Erden Kızıltepe and Erden Kızıltepe were swapped. And in the end, we didn't take this child out. We were also going to the festival. Despite all our efforts, we didn't take him out. After that, I performed in his place.
We went to Dijon in France. But except for me, due to a special reason of mine, I needed permission from my parents. It didn't coincide at that time. It was delayed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go there.
Even Mumin, my teacher. When we went abroad, Tayfun Telsi, who couldn't get a consent form, played with our team in place of our friend.
There was a trip to Romania with Astoria. So at that time, a hotel couldn't be found. They put us in a girls' dormitory, but it was incredibly rundown. Dormitory. We said with friends, what should we do? We're hungry. Let's make something in the kitchen. We just entered the kitchen. A friend stepped and a huge hole formed. We were about to fall to the floor below. It was that bad. Thank God nothing happened to anyone. But the food was also very bad.
The first trip abroad will be made. We are waiting for news from the Licidin team. At that time, my sister was living in Lilleborgaz. Back then, not everyone had a phone at home. My sister's downstairs neighbor did. So my mother was going to inform me about what happened, what the situation was. One day, a call comes to the downstairs neighbor, and I quickly go down because my mother is calling.
I will only say one thing about Arman. He participated in many competitions, saw many first places. He truly made us proud. But only one thing happened, just like the other friends who went abroad. Thanks to Ataman Abi, Arman couldn't go abroad.
I said, yes, Mom. Arman said, congratulations, you're going abroad. Of course, I was in a terrible state of panic. But he said, your brother is not letting you go. After that, of course, I was completely floored.
I couldn't go abroad as a player. I mean, the team was going, but my father, may Allah have mercy on him, may he rest in peace, would not let me go. I never went abroad at that time. Now, I started going abroad with A. Hank to see festivals, I mean, folk dance festivals in that way.
One day I went to Ankara. Again, I'm feeling good. I didn't see the jury. He said, stop. What are you doing? We will ring the bell, then we will see. Anyway. Then, entry. Salih brother, Efe, Eşemme. İzzet. We played. I played very well. Anyway, then they said, well, second, Silivri. First in Turkey, then we went up to the thing. We went to Germany. We went to the show. We went from Germany to Italy. We entered Venice. There are about 40, 45 of us. We are touring around. Come, we can't find the way. To get out, we can't find the way. I saw a sign. It says police. Knock, knock, it closes. A police officer came out. I said, parking lot, parking lot. The guy showed us the signs. He showed the signs. We got out.
We have so many beautiful adventures. I mean, we went hungry. We also went thirsty. People imagine us in Paris like on top of the Eiffel Tower, sipping wine while we had days boiling pasta by the side of a bus. Those days still remain as the most beautiful ones. It turns out you can't go back to those days. But I think we are very lucky to have our friends with us. At a very young age, we lived such a beautiful life, traveled to such beautiful places. I think even if we were trillionaires at that age, we might not have found those opportunities.
In 1983, we had a trip to Spain, 21 days old. Like this, the bus stops on the road. Then the picnic types come out, pasta, tomato pasta, canned food. Meals are prepared by the roadside there. Stomachs are filled. We know. It took us 4 days to get to Spain from here. We traveled for 4 days and 4 nights non-stop by bus. 21 days from there to France. We crossed into France and we had a performance in Limoges, Paris. So, when I experienced these, I was 17, 18 years old.
Spain. We went to a city called La Corona Deportivo, on the side facing England on the Atlantic Ocean coast. We set off from here in a 302 Mercedes. I can't remember if it was 4 days, 5 nights, or 5 nights, 4 days. I mean, you're a student anyway, no money, no cash. They didn't give us 50, 100 marks in our pocket. Eating pasta all the way. We went all the way there, stopping along the roads.
We started traveling abroad at the age of 15. We were going out with a consent form. So when you look back today, it was 25 years, 20 years ago when we first went abroad. Of course, this was very arduous at that time. We were young, inexperienced, and our families were seeing us off. We were going with a longing, with excitement.
When I was just 16 years old, in 77, I had the opportunity to go abroad for the first time. Such an important thing, something I've dreamed of for years in life. We were going abroad for the first time, and by bus, of course, just like that. You travel for 3 days, 4 days on those old man buses, no air conditioning, nothing. But the joy and excitement of it were not easily possible to experience anywhere else. So, we left Tavukule at midnight, my nose pressed against the window, seeing the village lights from afar, and here we are in Bulgaria. For me, this was abroad, a foreign place and all that.
When we went abroad, I was of course 14 years old. I was a bit young. According to everyone, I was the youngest. Families were taking us into their homes to sleep. I mean, hospitable French people were taking us in. We 4 girls went to stay with a family. We were in the car talking. It was quite a long journey for us. Of course, it was my first time leaving home, and in a place like abroad. Anyway, we went to the house and sat down. We were so hungry that we could barely speak. We expressed that we were hungry. They brought us cake. We ate the cake. Then we heard a rustling sound coming from inside. We were wondering if they had kidnapped us or what they were doing. You know, we had lost contact. There were no phones like today. No cell phones either. Anyway, when it was time to sleep, they took us to our rooms. And when we glanced inside through a crack in the door, we saw that they had inflated a bed for themselves. They had given us their own beds. They were going to sleep on the inflatable bed themselves. It was an interesting memory for us.
I went to Austria, I went to Spain. In these places, at the festivals, we really saw a distinct feature. At these festivals, because, you know, the European culture is close to each other. Among them, we were the ones coming from outside with our instruments, our dance, our costumes. Because of that difference, we were receiving more attention in Europe.
At the events or bal we attended while touring historical sites, mingling with the people there, our togetherness with them, their togetherness with us. Later when they come to our country, hosting them in our district, and to them we also encountered many interesting things that we can't count with the many events where we offered our hospitality, but these were truly unforgettable things.
Young dancers who were introduced to folk dances at a very young age promote the culture of Silivri in various parts of the world during their international journeys, while also having the opportunity to learn more about other cultures. Thanks to dance, the borders between countries disappear and unique human stories emerge.
I first went abroad in '88. We were playing on the same team with Asla. I went at that time. We first went to France. It was our first time leaving the family. It was 10 days, 15 days. They distributed us to families. I felt very upset there. We didn't know the language. We didn't know anyone. We were still young. It was our first placement with family. Asla and I stayed in one house.
When it comes to memories, there are those that can be told and those that cannot be told. There are still so many beautiful things when we come together. You know how the elderly tell stories about the old days? We keep getting caught up in those times. Telling the stories and laughing or getting sad over the same things again. But I think we are very lucky, truly, because we are part of this community.
They're, including us, honestly, a big organization with participation from 40 countries. El Ferrol, you know? Deportivo, a town called El Ferrol there. They invited 40 countries like us. The people, we stayed there 8 days, probably 9 days. Then the return journey started from there, again by bus. But this time, we came back a bit more leisurely, you know. On the way there, we went continuously without stopping. You sleep and wake up inside the bus on the roads. The miseries we experienced inside that bus. I mean, there was no place to lie down on the road.
We went to Portugal. Back then there were no mobile phones or anything, so there was no way to communicate. It took us 5 days. The journey lasted 5 days. We went to Portugal for 5 days. We were in such a state. I mean, we were exhausted. We went to the place where the committee was. At the festival, Tanner Abi got off. You know, our meeting place and everything was arranged. What are we going to do? They said, the festival was cancelled. What? What do you mean? We were like, what the heck? They said the festival was cancelled. Apparently someone from the committee had died. They said they sent us a fax because of that. The fax that arrived while we were on the road. Something might have happened. It was the year 91 for us. In 1991? So what are we going to do next? I mean, let us stay for one night. At least, let us take a shower, see a bed. We've been on the bus for 5 days. They said no, we don't have such an option. Everything was cancelled. We sat down and thought about it. What are we going to do? Tanner Abi came up with a great idea. We've come all this way. Somehow. We're in Portugal. We need to make the most of it. So we went to the beach in Portugal and swam in the sea. We took a shower. We lay down on the sand. We relieved our fatigue. Then we sat down and thought, We said, we've come all this way. We came in 5 days. We returned in 18 days. We went back directly in 5 days. The whole trip took 23 days. There wasn't a city we didn't visit. Village and town. There was no place left in Europe that we didn't visit. We owe this to Tanışeddin. Of course, thanks to him, of course. The mayor of that time, Selami Değirmenci. We also extend our thanks to him. He was very supportive, incredible. Selami Değirmenci provided incredible support. That was in 91. During the trip, Taner Abi had already called him directly. You know, in the end, Mr. President, we're not coming now. This and that happened. We've come all this way. Should we explore? He kindly said, let's explore. He explored. I said, thanks to him, we truly didn't leave any place unvisited in Europe. Spain, France, Italy, we explored everywhere.
I was walking with Sibel Alataş. We were going to the bus, but we had lost the group. We were only with the girls. Some of the girls were ahead, and Sibel Ablay and I were left behind. Someone grabbed my arm. When they started pulling, I lifted my head. I keep looking. It still seems endless. A black man, over 2 meters tall, like this, like a door. He grabbed my arm and was trying to take me away. How should I say? He took me about 50 meters or so. Meanwhile, Sibel Ablay and others panicked. Of course, how old was I then? Was I around 16 years old or so? Ja. We weren't even of legal age. It was going to be like this. Then I started shouting. Coincidentally, there was a corner like that. As I'm telling you, it still vividly appears before my eyes. Our team members came out from the corner. Atakan, our beloved clarinetist, Tevat, they came out and they were well-built people, mashallah. They started running. I was like, oh great, we're saved. We're saved. Of course, they came like this. Both of them grabbed him by the collar like this. He let go of me immediately. No problem.
I think it was 92. We performed in an open-air place like a theater there. That's when there was the bride, the groom event from my groom branch. At that time, I was in the groom role. Then I started playing factory owner roles, of course. At that age, of course, we were in the groom role. After that, we did it, our show ended beautifully. Then I noticed there was a crowd at the door, like this. Really, 10, 15 people had gathered at the door. They were Turks there. At that time, of course, in Bulgaria, they were doing a lot to the Turks. There were bands and such. I said, we wanted to put on gold, but they didn't allow it, he said. People were so moved and everything. I wish you had put it on, uncle, I said. Was there a chain and such? I have such a memory. I really liked it. We gave those people such a beautiful feeling. It was a very beautiful, exquisite situation that even reached gold.
As a team that achieved international success, TRT, which was the only television channel in the country at that time, did not remain indifferent to the Silivri region teams. In terms of Turkish folklore history, Izmir, which was brought to life by TRT in those years, the players from the Silivri region also made their mark on history, as multiple guests on the program called Dumadan filmed in the studios.
A program called Dumadan is being prepared. Of course, our elders from Silivri, high school's folklore team, will perform in a program. The filming will take place in Izmir.
We had gone to Izmir for a TV shoot. During the TV shoot, it was August 30th that day. They suggested we do something. They said, let's go somewhere outside of Izmir. We can have fun there and so on. Then we went to a place. From there we went to Kuşadası to celebrate August 30th. In Kuşadası, we had quite a bit of fun among ourselves there, dancing and doing things. The evening came, of course, we extended the shoot. Oh my God. Then the shoot was done the next day.
We are the three of us. As Özdi mentioned, present there as extras.
A folk dance program from Dimi on TRT, and they invited us. Their appearing on television is a completely different experience. That's why we prepared like crazy. scenarios, o kana girisi scenarios, now this and that.
Mutlu akşamlar sayın seyirciler. Programımızın bu bölümünde Silivri yöresine ait kadın halk oyunlarını Kına Gecesi içinde sergileyeceğiz.
Timidam Cemile Kutkun was presenting Timidam program there. The Henna Night in the Silivri region was staged, meaning they assigned roles to all of us with speeches and narrations. There was a bride, there was a sister-in-law, and there were reciprocal games.
Bir saniye. Hele o yumurtayı kır da şu pullarını da yapıştıralım Safinazımızın.
Birden karıştı.
Yumurtanın sarısı yere düştü yarısı. Yumurtanın sarısı yere düştü yarısı. Elle kızın başına belki geçer ağrısı. Elle kızın başına belki geçer ağrısı. Ay be saniye. Çok betersin vallahi. Sataşmadan duramaz. Ne o Şükran? Mehmet'in tezkeresi yaklaştıkça senin de ayranın kabarıya bakıyor.
During the TRT period, such programs were highly valued and were actually very valuable productions, both in documentary nature extending up to today. Programs that hold value and from our perspective on television, being seen or performing, they were very, very valuable things. That's why we have such an adventure in Izmir, a bus full of all together. Well, going there, staying at a hotel and such, it was such a special thing for us, for those young people going to another city, staying in a hotel. It was a very different experience.
There was Aygin, there was Arman, there was Shukran. I think there was Erdin's.
When we went for a TV shoot again, at that age, with great courage, we went out with friends at night. We left the protest at Izmir's promenade at midnight. We tried to wander around on our own again. Some friends were late, they were even later than us. They were structured with their foundations. The screams they let out when they saw the hotel fruit are still ringing in my ears as they came to the hotel.
My friend is playing the tambourine with what he remembers. I will also give you his CD shortly, hopefully we will all watch it. That's we started.
Then of course those shoots are done, shoots that last for hours. When we return to, there are such huge things, expectations about when it will be broadcast. When it will be broadcast.
Again, with the faithful ones. We were at the Selam Değirmenci Silivri Saints Place. Did we go to Portugal? Did we go to Spain? We went somewhere. We stopped somewhere on the way back, 5 a.m.
At that time, they took my father again. My father, where had they gone? They had probably gone to France. As we were entering, of course, we were always together as a family. Our friends were doing a nice cleaning while entering. For themselves, like this, like the road that never ends. They are entering Yugoslavia. The former Yugoslavia is now fragmented.
Back then it was Yugoslavia. I mean, Yugoslavia is now divided, not the Yugoslavia it used to be. When you entered from the Austrian border, It was a very long road from the Bulgarian border. We are returning at night. We returned from a show again, I guess because I was the mayor at that time. We were returning from such a show. Our Silivri mayor was also there.
Sefer evening dress. Had a discomfort. He was on his way back. Yugoslavia hadn't been divided at that time. I think we were around Zagreb. We were about 150 kilometers away from the place where we would have breakfast. The driver was Aziz's brother. I was talking to Aziz's brother, chatting with him, so he wouldn't fall asleep. Aziz's brother said, let me wash some grapes at this gas station. We stopped there while we were washing our grapes. We had taught Sefer Abiya to open the back door. There was a button for that back door. He would open it from there and get down. We washed our hands and faces, but Sefer brother also said good morning to me there.
President Seren said, hey, take a look at the restrooms. Sometimes they get really bad. Take a look over there. I went down, looked, and said, it's really bad, Mr. President. Let's not stay here. Let's continue. I said, 5 a.m. Everyone is sleeping in the car. We got in and continued on.
We set off towards Turkey, approximately after coming for an hour and a half. Come on, let's create an atmosphere inside. Let it play. When we mentioned the children, we saw that the drummer was missing.
The place we arrived at is Strasbourg, meaning we came from a very far distance, from France. We descended Italy. Such a journey, it was a 2-day, 3-day trip. Everyone is tired. We stopped in Yugoslavia. Everyone took care of their needs. They got on the bus. Most are sleeping. All right. Everyone look at the person next to you, okay? And so on we continued.
After 5-6 hours, we stopped somewhere. Izzet came and said, hey, did you see Brother Sefer? He said, I didn't see him. Did you? I didn't see him. Did you? I didn't see him. Did you? Brother Sefer is not here. What do you mean he's not here? Searching, he's not here. We said, maybe he's in the bathroom. Go check. No, Uncle Sefer is not there.
There was Sefer's brother's son. Izzet came and said, Halabi. He said, Sefer's brother is not here. He said, oh no. I said, he's in the car. Oh dear, I said, I think we left him at the gas station 150 kilometers away.
Finally, Izzet said, I remember something, but...
What do you remember?
Did we stop somewhere? He said. I said, we stopped 3 to 5 hours ago, a restroom. There, Uncle Sefer opened the back door from the automatic, got off. He said. Then we left, went, I think it stayed there, he said.
I think we had gone more than about 200 kilometers. Then we turned back, but we couldn't find it there. Of course.
They traveled 600 kilometers. My dad goes out, looks around, and casts a net. Where is this place? Am I the one who's drunk, or are they drunk, for example? Dad stays.
We arrived quite suddenly around 7, 8 in the morning after traveling for 6 to 7 hours. We said, let's stop in the morning so everyone can take care of their needs again. And then we got off with our clan leader. Sefer Usta is not there.
So how are we going to do it? Chairman Selahattin said, let's stay here. They immediately got a taxi from Mumin Tulu. Mumin Tulu went back. He went back 5 hours. He found the gas station.
Where is Master Sefer? Where is Master Sefer? Not here. We traveled for 7, 8 hours. After that, we stopped there immediately. The bus, a group of our friends, and we also had a farewell president at that time. They hired a car and returned, and we waited for him for a day. They came back. We couldn't find Sefer Aga.
Στους ερχομενούς ανθρώπους, λέει, ο γιος μου βρίσκει έναν Τούρκο που επιστρεφεί και εγώ λέω να έρθω μέχρι το Ιδενέ.
About an hour before he left, Uncle Sefer comes across a German family at a taxi stand, gets into their car, and leaves. He arrives, then there's no more film.
He got into a car. 2 young men are coming. Of course, they smell of alcohol, cigarettes, and travel sweat. Since my father is a bit of a tidy person, he said, son, drop me off on the right side in the city. You continue your journey, I'll go on my own, he said. His passport got burned, and he also had a good amount of money in his pocket.
We are coming to Turkey. We have reached as far as Edirne. We say hopefully they are waiting for us in Edirne. We arrived, but they are not in Edirne. Now we are discreetly calling the house from home. How is my dad? My uncle, I don't know. No, Uncle Sefer is not there. We don't know what to do.
After that, we came here. What are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? How are we going to explain the situation to his family? We are also scared. What happened to him? I mean, the man.
Of course, our people are calling my father from there. They can't find him. They open the border and come. Now, my father is stuck inside Yugoslavia.
So we called some people from the neighborhood. We will explain the situation. Uncle Sefer is on his way.
From our former mayor, Selami Değirmenci. Everyone came here. Everyone is here, but inside secretly. Where is my father? My father is not here. The late mother, too. It's been 2 years for her, too, since she passed away. Where is Sefer? Where is Sefer? Sefer stayed in Yugoslavia. How did he stay? He disappeared. Did he disappear? My mother to the ground?
Dedik, don't worry at all. We got the news. It seems like he's there and coming.
No, Uncle Sefer is not here. A day passed, still not here. 2 days passed, still not here. 3 days passed, still not here. The 4th day, they said Uncle Sefer has arrived. What do you mean Uncle Sefer has arrived? We went out to the neighborhood.
My father came the next day. May God have mercy on him. And also my classmate, Zalal. You were saying her husband too. Deputy Mayor. They took a ram as big as a small calf. They are slaughtering it for my father here and so on.
Of course, when we went to the neighborhood, we found that the entire municipality was planning to slaughter sacrifices. Uncle Sefer was sitting inside the house, sitting on a stick, and everyone around him was spread out. He was telling the story and laughing at the same time. Laughter, Uncle Sefer, where are you? What did you do? Anyway, we hugged and embraced.
He says, why are you upset, Dad? What are you cutting, Uncle Sefer? We came back to the world like we did.
He said, hey kid, I got off there because you stopped saying I went to the bathroom. You drove off, you left. I shouted after you, but you didn't hear. Then a German family came there. I sat with the German family. I explained my problem. Thankfully, I had my passport with me. I sat down and explained. They said to me, come on, uncle, we'll take you as far as Edirne. Then he says we got into their car. They have kids. The car is already cramped. We got in with the German family and we're on our way. For a moment, I smelled of sweat. Okay, I smelled of sweat to myself. Then he said, drop me off in Belgrade? I said, I will go to the consulate. Come on, uncle, let us drop you off. No, drop me off in Belgrade. I can't say that, he said. I smelled of sweat. Now I'm going to cause discomfort like this. He was such a gentle uncle of ours. Uncle Sefer, he gets off there.
My father also had a second language, Greek. He knew Greek well. In fact, he sang all the songs in Greek. He went and found one, a Greek. Greeks have a thing, a profession. They do something nice, like this. Like how we have small buffets. He found one, spoke in Greek. The man took him and brought him to the place, the Belgrade embassy.
The consulate officials are taking him to the train station. They write a note in his hand. I want to board the train number, I don't know, coming from Germany and going to Turkey. It says they also buy his ticket. Of course, the train takes 3 days to arrive. Uncle Sefer waits there for a day. In 4 days, he's in Istanbul. This process goes on like this, of course. Sacrifices were made, things were done. But Uncle Sefer, you really wore us out.
We arrived in the neighborhood, explaining, but we can't make them listen to our troubles. News came from the consulate. They said they put him on the train. He's coming. We went picked up from the station Sefer. We arrived in the neighborhood. With drums and zurna, we sacrificed 2 animals. That was truly a very big commotion.
The late Sefer Ege returned to Turkey on his own about a week later. He scared and excited us a lot. Of course, that incident
Sefer Aga Salih Aga Muhtar, Ali Bıçan, Erdogan Özkök, Nuri Taner, Teacher Mümin, Teacher Hüseyin, Temel Teacher, and with them on this path, there are fingerprints of hundreds of devoted individuals who shared this journey with love, determination, and heart, engraving these pleasant memories into our minds. The path they embarked on first led to a small summer town. It taught the desire to achieve together. Then, all of Istanbul found the folk dances that would represent itself in its thousands of years of history. And now, the Silivri region, which is one of the prominent regions of Turkey, will not be instilled with peace and brotherhood to people all over the country. It continues to teach through dance that there is no difficulty. As we always say, Anatolia is the homeland, Thrace is the soul. To Silivri, my life is devoted.